Hi everyone, it's Colleen from the Upper St. Clair Township Library. We're back in my kitchen today and I will show you how to make a Dutch baby pancake that's both sweet and savory. So we're gonna make two today. The recipes come from a variety of cookbooks. I sort of knitted them all together. I will link a document to this video which has the recipes. There is a bit of prep work. The first thing that you'll have to do is bring 2 of the ingredients up to room temperature. So you will need 4 eggs at room temperature and 3/4 cup of milk at room temperature. I've set mine out in little bowls to get ready, and while they come up to room temperature, it'll take about 30 minutes. I'm going to get the rest of my ingredients together. So while the milk and the eggs are coming to room temperature, we'll talk about a Dutch baby pancake. It's actually a pancake that you mix together. It's egg heavy, so it's more like a souffle than a traditional pancake. You start it on the stove and then finish it in the oven to allow for all sides to crisp evenly. It sort of bubbles up like a souffle, and it's really eggy. It's not as bread-like as a regular pancake. You will need for this recipe an oven-safe pan, a skillet. So it could be a cast iron skillet. I'm using just a regular skillet, but it has a metal handle. It does not have a plastic handle because they will be going into the oven at about 425 for about 15 minutes. So you don't want your handle to melt off or burn your hands. So we'll make sure we have oven mitts too. So we'll need an oven safe pan, bowl, whisk, the rest of the ingredients for the sweet Dutch baby pancake, including the 4 eggs and 3/4 cup of milk. I'm using whole milk. You can use a non-dairy substitute. I haven't tried it with that, although I do have oat milk on hand if I run out of whole milk in the experimentation. Very little flour, 3/4 cup. If you want to sift it, that will make mixing the mixture easier. About 1/3 cup of sugar. I'm going to put some lemon zest in my pancake. I used the zest of 1 lemon. You'll also need a little bit of salt, some butter to line the pan with before baking. And we'll get started. All right, to begin our baking process, we're going to turn on our oven to 425 degrees on the bake setting. In a bowl, we will pour our 4 eggs that are at room temperature, milk, 3/4 cup, I'm using whole milk, also at room temperature. The lemon zest, if you decide to use it, you don't have to. I'm going to use mine today. And just a little pinch of sea salt, whatever you're comfortable with. And we're going to whisk everything together until it's fluffy. So I've whisked my eggs until they're they're a little bit foamy, but everything is well incorporated. We're going to next whisk in the sugar, again, until everything is incorporated. The key to a Dutch baby pancake is a very smooth texture. If I can be honest, I skipped a step. So before the sugar, whisk in the flour. But again, it doesn't make any difference because we're going to whisk it all together anyway. So whisk in the flour. Again, like I said, you can sift it. That way you know you have a lump-free batter. You can also make this in a blender. I just don't have a blender. I have an immersion blender, which I guess I could use, but I didn't feel like bringing it out. So I'm going to whisk this until it is lump-free. Once your batter is whisked and lump-free, we're going to prepare our pan, turning on our stove top to a medium heat. we are going to melt 4 tablespoons of butter in the pan, and then we'll move on to the next step. So right now your butter should be melting in the pan. Once it's fully melted, we're gonna swirl it around to coat the entire pan as close to the top rim as you can get without spilling it. There will be excess butter, but that's all right. It just adds to the richness of flavor. Pan is coated, butter is melted. We are going to pour in our batter. I'm going to use a spatula to get every last bit of it in there. All right, I'm going to turn off the heat from the stove and put my pancake pan, batter and all, into the prepared oven and allow it to bake. The pancake will bake for about 15 minutes, 15 to 20, until the edges are golden. While we wait for it to bake, you can either make a lemon glaze to drizzle on top. All you need is the juice from the lemon that you zested and some powdered sugar, and whisk that up, and then you can glaze it. I'm gonna opt out for doing that, but instead prepare for you the savory Dutch baby pancake. Same recipe, we just omit the sugar and we omit the lemon, and we add herbs and some cheese at the end. All right, so the savory Dutch baby pancake starts the same way as the sweet Dutch baby pancake, with your 4 eggs at room temperature, your 3/4 cup of milk at room temperature, and a lot of whisking. Once your eggs and milk are well whisked, they have a nice foam, we're gonna add a pinch of sea salt, some black pepper. Now we're getting savory. And 3/4 cup of flour. So not unlike the sweet pancake. And then whisk it all together. To add to our pancake savoriness, we're going to include 1/3 cup of shredded cheese. I'm using an Italian blend, so it's a little bit of Parmesan, it's a little bit of mozzarella. We're gonna add that in there. It is all shredded together, and some herbs. The recipe calls for thyme, so that is what I will be using. It's about a tablespoon, so we need quite a bit. I'm gonna just eyeball it. But you can obviously measure it out, and then continue whisking until it gets all incorporated. Your batter will be a little bit lumpy, but that is just because we added the cheese. As we did with the sweet pancake, we're going to take 4 tablespoons of butter and melt it in an oven-proof skillet. This skillet that I'm using now is a smaller one than we used for the savory one. I only have 2 sizes, and our sweet pancake is still baking. So we'll let the butter melt, and then pour in our batter and pop it into the oven. My butter has melted. I'm swirling it around my pan to coat as much of it as I can. Oh, I still have a little piece of butter that hasn't melted. As I swirl, there it goes. Now remember, this is a smaller pan that I'm using. I believe it's probably about an 8-inch. My first pancake went into a 9-inch pan. When I pull it out, you'll see what I mean. But this is going to be exciting to see what happens when it bakes up. Pour in the batter. Maybe again, grabbing a spatula to get all the good stuff in there. Grabbing an oven mitt, because as this one goes in, I'm going to take out the sweet one, and it will be hot because it's been in the oven. Turning the oven off, the stove off, taking out my sweet Dutch baby pancake. I'll bring it closer in a second, and transferring in my savory one. So, the Dutch baby pancake has popped up like a souffle. It probably was really thick, so that's why we've got a ridge in the center. You can take it out, sprinkle some powdered sugar on it, maybe some syrup, and have a great breakfast. Now, we'll wait a few minutes to allow our brunch savory one to come out. Looks great. A little note about the Dutch baby pancake, because it is so similar to a souffle. Once it comes out of the heat, it could deflate. Don't worry, it is still delicious. It is just not Instagram worthy. So if you are wanting to take a photo of it, take it right when you get it out of the oven before it deflates. The savory Dutch baby is ready to be taken out from the oven. Because it was being baked in a smaller pan, it did take a longer time. I think the batter was thicker, so we won't see as much of a rise as we did using the 9-inch pan. So I would recommend, if you're not making both back to back, to always use the larger pan, and then you get that rise on all four sides. It's a circle on all sides of the pancake. So we'll pull it out. It's nice, it's crisp, it's risen a little bit. Woo! You'll smell the thyme in your kitchen or whatever herbs you're using. I might try it with basil next, just to mix it up, but it's ready to go. Serve it with a nice green salad. You've got yourself a good meal. Thank you for watching, and hope to see you soon.